welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas. Hello, I'm Billy Coppin, the Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union, good morning, Huntsville.
Da-da-da-da. You ready for this? Rick, we got a surprise today. You ready for the surprise today?
Surprise.
The surprise is Rick doesn't have his headset on. All right.
Okay,
All right, you ready for the surprise today?
give me the surprise.
Ready? And get ready for this. In 3, 2, 1. Look who's back. Da-na-na. Look who's back. Back again. Kay is back. Back again. Good to see you, Kay. Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome.
She never left.
She was here in spirit.
I saw her every
these
day.
last couple of weeks. So welcome back, Kay. It's good to see you today. Rick Boning with us as always. Is it almost always? Pretty much always.
Yeah, I'm here nearly all the time.
There was a few weeks that Isaiah Berry was here.
Yeah.
Y'all were out and about traveling, and good to have y'all back.
Why,
I missed
thanks.
y'all. You know, it's kind of like Isaiah did great. I love Isaiah, great young man, but it just feels at home now with y'all back. It's kind of like, you go somewhere and the couch is moved or the plates aren't in the right cupboard when you visit someone's house that you've been to before, and you're trying to find the cups. And it's not that it's bad. It's not the same. So it was kind of like the couch has been moved for a few weeks, Kay. But now we have moved the couch back into its proper place. And in fact, your chair, I made sure to move it back. I have little lines here for when you're here, and I've remarked the floor for you. So welcome, Kim. Rick's over here like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, I don't remember any of this, but okay.
We do have a couple of new additions here to the studio, by the way. Now we can, I've had some people asking. They said they wanted to be able to see what the audience sees on the cameras, and so
Why?
I've had a couple people ask.
Well, you've got a big monitor there.
So now
I can see how fat I am. It's great.
Look, now you can wave at yourself. Hi, guys. So we've added that.
Do you like Jeremy?
Our youngest son, we used to have a mirror across the top of our bed. And when he was, 14 or 15?
Yeah.
He would come in there and talk to us. but the whole time he's grooming himself in the mirror. He never looks at you. He's always looking at the mirror.
Those are good too. So if you,
I don't have any on top of the bed. They're at the head of the bed.
well, if you had some up here, it's good because as you lay down, you can kind of look up your nose and be like, oh yeah, I probably need to go blow my nose.
Need
Those
to
kind
trim
of things.
that right there.
Yeah, you need to trim that. Today's theme is going to be about getting older. Kay, I believe. Is this right? Is this part of Kay's Wednesday Wisdom? We'll dig in a minute, but that's the theme today, right?
Kay's Wednesday wisdom is getting older.
Getting older. So that is the theme today. We're going to have I can't say the word because, I just can't say big words. I should be a philosophical. Is that right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That sounds weird when you say it. Philosophical.
Well,
Is that it?
You don't usually put that much spit in it. But
Is that the word, though? Philosophical?
I don't know. What are you trying
What's
to
the
say?
sentence?
We're going to have a philosophical debate about what is the age when you can say, I'm getting old.
Okay.
Would that be a correct
Sure.
use?
Oh, well, that's easy.
What is that?
If you fall down and people laugh, you're still young. If they say, "Are you okay?" then you're old.
Ah, okay.
It's true.
There's no debate on that. That's
All right. Well, let's take the philosophical out of the equation. There is no debate. We
just
are good to
fall
go.
down in front of somebody.
We should do that, Rick, as a social experiment. But we
They'd
can't.
be rushing over there. I wouldn't be able to get up.
I've been wanting to do these. You see these reels on Facebook and Instagram, and some of the videos are pretty funny, but a lot of them are social experiments. One guy I follow, there's a lot of them that are really crude, and you just flip through them. But then there's some that you hit once in a while. They're like, okay, this one isn't too bad. There's a guy named Ed Bassmaster. Now I know you're not a fan. That's the look at this guy. That guy.
I'm not a fan.
But I do have Jason is a big fan here. Jason Bay is a big fan of that guy. So I've found somebody for that, Rick. So it's okay.
Okay, so we can do something else.
So we can do something else. But I like some of his stuff because it's not really crude. And then there's a guy named Ross Creations that's pretty good, and he does some really good stuff that's not over the top or some of those, man. It's like every other word is someone cussing, and it's just like, man, why can't you just do stuff and not have to do all that and be crude? And so there's some guys out there that actually do stuff that's funny, and you don't have to worry about all the other stuff. It's something that if I wouldn't say my kids, because some of it's not over the top, but it's probably like age 10 plus maybe. But most of it's pretty good. What I'm getting at, Rick, is you and I need to come up with some of these. Kay can kind of be the
straight man.
Yeah, Kay can kind of let us know if this is okay.
No,
But-
just right now, no.
But I'm thinking, how about Buc-ee's in Madisonville? Because there's so many visitors in there, and we're not going to run into anybody that we know probably at Buc-ee's in
It's
Madisonville.
only 30 miles away.
But we probably won't know anybody. It's so busy in there. No one will even
I know
think
some
about it.
people in Madisonville.
Well, but the Buc-ee's. Do you think people in Madisonville go to Buc-ee's? Or they?
Probably not. I wouldn't.
Yeah, there's like.
I live here and I don't go to Buc-ee's.
They're like, thanks for the tax money. Is what
So
here-
what do you want to do? You want to go up to random people?
No. What I'd like to do is have a hidden camera. Maybe Darren can join us, and Darren Grant's here with us more. We'll get Darren in on this as well. And what we'll do, Rick, is we'll have some cameras set up, strategically where people don't notice them, and then I'll fall and see what happens, and then we'll have you fall and see what
I
happens.
need to have my cane with me.
Yes, have your cane with you. Maybe like a bandana. That would be a good one. Blowing your nose in a handkerchief.
Blow it so hard you fall down.
Yeah. Do people still use handkerchiefs, Kay? Is that still a thing?
Not very often.
I mean, you think about that.
My dad did, and that's the only person I know.
My dad did too.
My dad did also, yeah.
I've got his handkerchiefs.
Yeah.
I don't use them.
Think about those things. Carrying that thing around all day and just, oh, man. And my dad had
They got
one.
washed regularly.
Well, yeah, but still, man, it's like, I don't know. It's just, to me, see, thank goodness for the Kleenex box, right? The tissues.
Darren's got it over there.
Yeah, Darren already has it. He knows. You just one and done, and then you move on.
Well,
But
somebody sticks them in their pocket, and I find them in the laundry.
maybe, here's the deal, okay? Maybe this is why people get sick so much nowadays because, we've went to this whole method of, just get rid of the germs. But maybe we need the germs. Maybe the handkerchiefs, maybe that's the missing link of why people are getting more sick nowadays. Because back in the day, they had the handkerchiefs. The germs were always on them. The body had immunity. We've gotten rid of the handkerchief. See, it's just like messing with the bees. You mess with the handkerchief, you've ruined everything.
Antibacterial soaps are actually bad for you.
I've heard that, yeah. I've heard that.
And reducing your immunity and things. So I don't use it at the school.
Rick's over here looking at me during my discussion. He's like, this guy is a complete moron. That was the vibe I got from Rick.
I would never think that about you, Rob.
Well, we're
The
buddies.
antibacterial soap kills the good germs.
And that's it. I've heard that
And the bad germs like it. They eat it. Good stuff.
little Popeye germs. I've also, and please don't, I mean, even if this is bad, please don't stop. But I've also heard that bathing every day is not good for you. Someone had told me that because you're washing away all of the stuff. And I'm like,
I hadn't heard that, but I shower every day, whether I need it or not.
And I'm thinking about, boy, back in the day.
Yeah.
You think about back in the day when there wasn't no teeth brushing going on and no soaping going on during the bathing. And, oh, man, how did people find each other attractive 1,000 years ago?
That's why you usually had June weddings, is because it was right after you had your shower. They took baths.
Okay.
And that's where the saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Those were like the, what do you call it? The like the smell of something that people are attracted to. What is that called? Pheromones? Is that what it is?
Pheromones.
Yeah.
See, I'm so bad pheromones. Old pheromone over there. Sounds like somebody's name. Pheromone. So maybe back in the day that was attractive. Like, you know, the smell of not bathing was attractive to
You
people.
do go nose
It's like,
blind.
no, it was not. What is it, Rick?
You go nose blind eventually.
I guess. Well, no, you're right, because I think about, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, but you think about if somebody has cats. We had cats growing up, and you have a cat box. You got to clean it. One of my jobs was to clean the cat box once in a while, and I was like, oh, that's why I don't like cats now. But if you go into a home where people have cats, you notice it.
Yeah.
Even if the cat box is clean and all that, you still notice the cats. But if you live in it, you don't notice it. Or, for instance, if you smoke, you don't notice that, you know, I pretty much grew up in the VFW. So I was kind of immune walking into the VFW of the cigarette smoke. And I'd come home and my mother would be like, my goodness, we can take a knife and just cut that off of you.
Yeah.
You know, and we would get, they had a plush toy machine in there. And somehow the cigarette smoke had found its way through the cracks and crevices of that machine. And my mom would always say, well, your daddy loves y'all, but he needs to quit bringing home those nasty stuffed animals, because he would win them all the time, but those things stunk. Well, we didn't notice it because we were always around it, you know, in the VF. But, yeah, so that's the discussion, Kay, getting older.
We had the same discussion the other day about how if a person smokes in a room, eventually that stuff starts running down the walls.
Oh, yes. Were you on the show when I was talking about that?
Could be.
My experience with that? I
Could be.
had to gut out my house, and I was renting a room to a guy, and I told him, I said, do not smoke in my house, man. And he said, okay. Well, he did. And that whole room turned yellow.
Yeah, they will.
And when we had Tropical Storm Hermine had came through, and it literally dumped 26 inches of rain on our property in about 12 hours. And so we had water that I had to evacuate the house, and I'm watching the news from my mom's, and they're talking about my neighborhood on the news receiving the most rain from that tropical storm. This was back, I think, in 2011. And I'm like, Mom, that's my neighbor down the street. And he's waiting in his living room. And so the next morning I went to the house, and I got there, and of course we had water damage. There was mud all on the floors. It was that water's so nasty how it does that. But thankfully ours only went up about a foot, but that was still enough to damage a ton of stuff. And so I started ripping, you know, I was just going to cut out the bottom part of the sheetrock.
Right.
But when I got in there, I realized, oh, this was old, you know, Joe homeowner here must have built this house, because there was no insulation on the west wall where the sun sets. And I was wondering why that room was always hot. Well, that was the old smoker's room. Not mine, but the smoker roommate. You know, it sounds like a place well, let's go to the smoker's room. We didn't have that.
I don't have one of those.
And I'll never forget, Rick and Kay, as I was taking down that sheetrock, the smell of that smoke was so horrendous. And even after I got it out of there, I literally started smelling the 2x4s, and I was like, man, this stuff caked into the – I had to spray all that out and everything. And finally, man, after going through like the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th World War, I think I finally got that smell out of that room, but it was terrible. Just absolutely terrible.
Cakes on everything.
So, yeah, that's the discussion today. We're talking about getting older. We're going to have Kay's Wednesday Wisdom in a moment. Darren Grant joining us from Sam Houston State University. He's going to be talking about some things going on this summer, some things that you can do to bring back your youth. You know, if you're older, these are some things that you can bring back your youth. If you're younger, it'll keep you young. So staying active, being outdoors, doing things, always good to keep you going. A couple of things that it is today, Rick, that I'm excited about. National Brisket Day.
National Brisket Day.
We all know the brisketeer of Huntsville.
Yeah, but I haven't seen him today.
Haven't seen the brisket breakfast tacos. Surely thought those would make an appearance this morning. Kyle's in his brain right now. Just said, well, surely you thought wrong. It is National Brisket Day today, so happy. This is Kyle's day today. Happy Kyle Day. There was a couple of other things. Was it National Flip Flop Day today?
Yeah,
I believe. And then there was
National Old Age Day.
National Old Age. Was it something like that?
No, it was something about stay healthy or something.
Or
Senior health or something.
Senior Health Day. Yeah, Senior Health Day. So
I'm a senior.
what is this? Is it 55?
65.
65. Well, what's the 55? Why are all the neighborhoods 55 and up then? If it's
They hope they're partied out by then.
Man, that's kind of scary to think about because, and I know, Rick, you're going to say, whoa, you young buck, you, but man, that's 14 years away for me.
Some people do a discount at 50, some it's 55.
14 years from now, I'll be 80.
You ever just sit there and ponder these things at night? You're like, oh, 14 years from now, I better go to sleep. I don't want to think about this anymore.
No.
I was thinking the other day, I have friends who are grandparents now and my age. And I'm like, how are you a grandparent? Well, because this young lady met her husband, got married when they were 18, had a child at 19, child graduated high school, got out of college early, and had a baby. And I'm sitting here thinking, my goodness, and my wife, and you know, we still want a couple, maybe one or two more kids. And I told Bridget, I was like, I'm getting close to that grandfather age now. At 41, you can be a grandpa. So it's
yeah, you can.
It's it's kind of scary. I don't want to think about those.
I mean, I have a granddaughter that's 21.
When I lived in Atoka, I had a mother and a grandmother in my class, or the babies. The mother, grandmother was 34, and her daughter had a baby, and the daughter was 17. She was 17 when she had a baby, and then her daughter had a baby at 17. So I had both the baby and the grandbaby in the nursery.
That's cool. My friend Kenny, and Kenny's up in Canada now. Hey, Kenny, he's all the way up in the good country of Canada. He's up there hanging out. But Kenny, I'll never forget. As a kid, we were playing basketball in the street, and this lady comes cruising up. I was like, "Who's that lady?" Oh, it's my great grandmother. So he had a great grandmother that was still driving. And I started, like you said, asking him. He goes, well, at 16 and at 17, back then that was common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And literally, like, I've never met anybody that had a great grandmother that was driving. And she was like in her early 80s. And his grandmother, I think at the time, I'll have to really think about this sometime, but I believe his grandmother was only in her late 30s or 40s. It was the craziest thing. I'm sitting here thinking, man, this is cool. So there was like 5 generations of family still roaming the earth at once. You go back 5 generations of my family, you're like all the way back to the 1700s, it feels like.
Same here.
So, and I did want to mention since we're on this, talk about family and all this, the LDS Church has like you hear of Ancestry.com and all that. There's another one called Family Search. I found out about this through the public library here in Huntsville. Had no idea that it existed. You got to be careful because I don't know how much of the information's fact-checked on this one, but it is pretty neat because there's no charge, and you can do all this genealogy research. And I was at the library, and the children were playing. They were kids that day, but most days they're children. They were in the library, fun little game room in there, and they have the mats and all that. And
little round door they go through.
Yeah, I love that little arch. And that stinking spinning quarter thing where you put the coins in.
Oh, yeah.
Braylon always wants, Daddy, I need coins. And it can't just be 3 or 4. She needs like 30 of them. And she puts them all in at once, and they go. Let me just say, the library is supposed to be a quiet place. That coin spinning thing is the loudest thing I've ever heard at the library, but it works for the kids.
That's going to get more expensive next year. They're going to stop making pennies.
Yeah, I heard about that. 2026, the last mold has been cast for the pennies. So hold on to your pennies, folks. But we were in there, and I got on the computer, and there was on the desktop, there was an icon that said Family Search. And I went on. I was like, oh, cool. And I started researching. The LDS Church runs this. And I traced, on my mom's side of the family, we've never been able to trace part of that side of the family through the maternal part. I guess that would be right, through the male.
No, that's paternal.
See, I was wrong. Papa, P, paternal, Papa, maternal, M, mama. I should know this. I learned that when I was a kid. I just actually thought of that, by the way. But we couldn't trace it after a certain part of the paternal part. It was kind of weird. But I went through the maternal part and ended up tracing that all the way back to, man, it went all the way back to England. I'm talking like 1300s. And I was like, this is crazy. I just kept clicking and clicking and clicking. And through the Ancestry.com, we were never able to do that. So someone had pieced all this together. Of course, you got to double check it, but I thought it was neat. Well, their last name is Caluet on my mom's side, through some of my relatives. And Kay, here's the neat thing about this. There was a park that is in the Northeast. Obviously, everybody came over, landed there, and broke away. The park is like Calamenti Park, and it's named after some of my cousins. And I was telling my mom, I was like, we need to go to this and see this. We finally have something to be like, yes, we got something named after us. We got the Calamenti Park, baby. Let's go. And maybe there's a treasure there waiting for us. You never know. So
you never know.
That's what I'm hoping for, Kay.
When are you going?
And probably never.
Okay. Well.
See, I've been waiting on two things in life. One, on a treasure that someone has left for me. And then two, the class action lawsuit for my Lynx implant that's in my esophagus. I thought that would be my retirement, but no class action yet. So those are the two things I've been waiting for, Kay.
You might have to start the class action.
No, I'm just kidding. If you start the class action, you get a pretty good payday, right, on things? Is this right?
I would have no idea.
But if you're just a member of the class action, you don't really get a whole lot, right?
I've never started the class action.
In all seriousness, I hope there will never be a class action because I don't want this thing to mess up. I've had a magnetic bracelet in my esophagus for 10 years now. And unfortunately on Facebook now all these stories are coming out about how these things are failing and they're eroding into people's esophagus. And I'm just sitting here like this now at night, like, please don't erode, please don't erode. It's kind of scary to think about.
Just go take an MRI and it'll pull it right out.
Well, here's the problem. I can't take it. I didn't pick up on the joke, and I was just, here's the thing, I can't take an MRI, but there you go, Rick. So, well, hey, we got a great show lined up today. Darren Grant joining us. We appreciate him. Big thank you to Elliot Herzig from Elliot's Jewelers, online at elliotsjewelers.com, and always on these wonderful Wednesdays. Big shout out to Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools for everything early childhood education. There is no better place to have your children. Just ask me if you run across me in town. You hear me on the show talk about it all the time, but our two children are absolutely thriving. They are doing so well, and Sophia and Charlotte have really taken a liking to my little boy. Whenever they always say, "Come here, Bubba," because he doesn't want to leave Daddy, and he'll cry for 2 seconds, and then he latches onto Sophia and doesn't let go. And I said, "Fine, go on, buddy." So that's the great service, the great education.
I was going to say, well, who wouldn't want to latch onto Sophia?
I know.
She's kind of cute.
He leaves and wants Charlotte, and he just says, "Forget you, Daddy. I'll see you later."
Yeah.
Braylon still gives me a hug when I drop her off.
Well, she should.
And
she's a daddy's girl.
Well, and if it's a special day, she'll say, "Daddy, I want to give you a kiss." She'll give me a kiss on the cheek. That's when I know it's a really good day if my little girl gives me a kiss on the cheek. It's a good day if she doesn't, but it's a really good day if she does. So, but that is great things happening at Tomorrow's Promise. Summer's here, Kay, and I know that you guys are always really busy during the summer, too, with field trips and those kind of things. Mm-hmm. So always a lot of fun.
That was a lead-in there.
Yes, I know. The after-schoolers are getting ready to start their field trips. And we just get busier and busier. So
that's great.
We have a program for the parents that would like their children to go on field trips, and then we have a program for the parents that do not want to have their children go on field trips.
Rick, do you still get to hang out with the little ones during the summers? No more?
No.
No
I've
more.
gotten too old. They'll catch it.
You're at the point to where they laugh. Oh, where the laughing. No, you're still at the laughing part.
Well,
He can't
they
outrun
laugh.
them on the playground anymore.
If I get on the playground, they all gravitate over to me.
You're at the part where when you're running and you trip and fall.
And then they dogpile on you.
Yes. That I've been watching Caden, and Caden, I love my little boy. I call him my clumsy buddy because he's always tripping and falling, and so that's his nickname. And Bridget's like, "Don't call him that. That's rude." And he got up one day and goes, "I'm clumsy, Daddy," and he's all smiling about it. And I was like, "Buddy, you're not clumsy. You're just a little boy learning." But he does this crazy thing, Kay, and we'll have Wednesday Wisdom in a little bit. We'll have Darren on real briefly, but he does this thing where he runs at me and then just falls over on you. Mm-hmm. And it's scary because he has no regard that there's a concrete floor right here or the road or anything that's hard that would hurt you if you fall on it. And so when you're around Caden, you've got to be ready for him because you don't know if he's going to flop on you. See, what's happening, Rick, is he's been watching the NBA too much. I want him to play basketball, but he's been watching the NBA is what's happening. He's been watching LeBron James. And I said, you've got to quit watching LeBron, all right? So he runs and he flops.
Are you sure you're not
at you.
having him watch wrestling where they jump off the rails onto the other person?
Well, see, I'd much rather him watch that because at least in that they come across tough. I mean, we know it's an act, but in the NBA they flop and they cry, and the wrestling they slam down and then they get up and they're ready to roll. So I may get it. Thank you. What I've taken away is
he doesn't need to learn that at school.
Caden's going to be the next WWE Raw superstar. So, but no.
See what you did?
Thank you, Kay.
See what you did?
Kay's Wednesday Wisdom leaked in. Didn't even know that she was going to bring that
Charlotte's
today.
really going to love you for that.
He starts watching wrestling and he starts those moves. He'll end up getting bitter.
If he does those moves, he will not be at Tomorrow's Promise anymore. I promise he will not be at Tomorrow's Promise. Charlotte will call me and be like, your son is trying to body slam me. But no, in all seriousness, Tomorrow's Promise, please check them out online, tomorrowspromise.info. Again, for early childhood excellence here in Huntsville. There's no better place to do it. Also, this year for the Rays of Hope coming up next Thursday, we'll be out at the H-E-B parking lot from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tomorrow's Promise Education Foundation, one of our beneficiaries again for the third straight year. And so we'd love to have you come out. We'll be talking more about that, of course, throughout the rest of the week and on our website as well. Let's take a break. Darren is here. We want to chat with Darren, figure out what's going on in Huntsville. A lot to do to keep you young. And so we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. More to come as we continue promoting the good. This is Good Morning Huntsville, brought to you as always on a Wednesday by Tomorrow's Promise Montessori School. Stay with us, please.
Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools believe in creating spaces where children can learn, grow, and use their imaginations. At any Tomorrow's Promise location, children enjoy the largest playgrounds in town. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori is a fun school where every child learns at their own pace, and mastery of a concept is expected before moving on to the next concept. At Tomorrow's Promise, every child is respected, loved, and nurtured for the unique individual that they are.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tomorrowspromise.info for more information. Education you can trust.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union, and our business is helping you take care of your business. In addition to personal accounts, Walker County Federal Credit Union also offers business accounts and business lending for commercial customers. We're devoted to taking care of the needs of our individual members and helping our business members with their financial success too. Call us today and find out how easy it is to work with Walker County Federal Credit Union. Member NCUA. Hey, I'm Denise Olivas.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope. This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
This is Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, and you're listening to Spirit Radio.
Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit
94.3. Welcome back, friends. We continue on another story, another chapter in our wonderful community story today. Welcome back here on Good Morning Huntsville, as always brought to you by Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools on a very wonderful Wednesday, 71 degrees. Unfortunately, some strong to severe thunderstorms in the forecast for today. 80% chance of storms tonight, 40% chance, more of the same tomorrow. Those storms and rain will taper off over Friday, and we are set up for a beautiful weekend. Saturday, mostly sunny and 85. And early next week, things looking okay. We don't have an official Thursday forecast for next week yet for Rays of Hope, but we'll keep you updated, obviously, here on the show. Rain or shine, we're going to do it. So make sure to join us out there at the HEB parking lot on Thursday of next week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Well, it's a joy and privilege to bring back a friend who has been with us before. He was so good the first time. I said, man, we got to figure out a way to pay this guy. And he said, well, you don't have enough money to pay me, so I'm just going to come on.
That's it.
And here he is in 3, 2, 1. Darren Grant joining us.
I'm priceless. What can I say? That family search, I've done the same thing. And I can go back to the 1600s on, it doesn't have everything, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you want to know every single great-great-great-grandfather you have, you're probably not going to find it. But I was able to go back to the 1600s in some quadrants of my family. And my last name's Grant, so that's a Scottish clan. So there's some Scottish heritage there. And then it turns out there's a couple of other Scottish clans in the mix as well. And so actually at the Sip and Shop in May, I was chatting with some people in, I think, Anitchin time. Uh-huh. And there's a Scottish woman in there who knows all the clans and all this kind of stuff. And so we got into a discussion. She's like, which clans are you? And I said, well, I think this one and this one and this one. And a lot of that came from Family Search. It's really it is free, and it's a great little engine to learn about your past.
Okay, the way Darren's over here talking, I want to be part of a clan, We need to get back to using that terminology, right? I like it.
We have our own tartans, right? And so the Grant clan, there's a color. And like I don't have an actual kilt, but I've got a tie with, the background color is red, and then there's some olive and some drab. There's 3 or 4 different colors in there, and that's the Grant clan,
Oh, that's cool.
Tartan, I guess, would be the word. And then every clan has its own tartan. And so that's kind of neat.
It is.
Well, this is my group.
So how many clans were there?
I think I'm part of 3 Scottish clans. There's also some English background, and it may be that some of those came over to Canada and then my folks are from Canada, but some of them may have come over to Canada because of civil strife in England. There was an English Civil War in the 1600s, and that quite possibly drove some people over from England and potentially Scotland over to the and there was some religious strife as well over to Canada. So anyway, I learned a lot in 30 minutes, and probably if I spent another 30 minutes, I'd learn twice as much.
And didn't cost you a dime.
And didn't cost me a dime. No,
So
it was
it's
wonderful.
great.
I was looking at the family tree, and there was one of these kind of links, and two links kind of went together, and I'm like, well, that's different. What's that? And then you look a little bit closer, and some of my one pair of great grandparents were first cousins.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
which was
common back then.
Not that unusual. They lived in very small, remote communities. It wasn't that unusual. But anyway. Yeah, it was a little surprises.
Yeah, cool. Well, Darren, thanks for sharing that insight with us. So, we had you on a few months ago talking about the Sundown at Sam's, and how did the first one go? I know we've been through a couple now. How did that first one turn out in the last one?
We've been through the full series.
Oh, the whole series is gone. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
So we had one in March, one in April, one in May. May, we kind of got half a concert because rain kind of came in toward the end, so we needed to make sure that we didn't have people there with the rain. But we had a lovely run of it, really, across the board. Musicians did great. Crowd was good. Vendors were happy. You don't want someone to come out and put all that effort into, bringing out and serving food or whatever, and then go home disappointed. So, and then, of course, the customers liked the food. So, anyway, everybody seemed like a nice run of it. We're talking about ways to maybe open things up even a little more. So it's always good to be having that discussion, how we have the potential to do a little more as opposed to the alternative discussion, we're going to have to do less. So it's an exciting time for the series. It was good.
Well, speaking of music, there is a lot going on this summer here in Huntsville and throughout the area. So we wanted to have you on today to kind of highlight some of the summer events. We were joking earlier, about age, and but really, if you want to keep your youth, get up, be active, and do some things. And there's a lot going on this summer that we wanted to have you highlight for us today.
There is, and spring and fall are such lovely times in Huntsville in this area. But the summer is. Are we going to get outside every day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and bake in the sun? We're not. Can we go out in the evening one summer? Yeah, it's a little hot, and your way to deal with that is, okay, it's a little hot. It's a little warm. Go on out, have a good time anyway. And the summer is typically the time when communities in our area put on free outdoor music. And so you can actually find some of that in Huntsville, and you can find it within an hour's drive in every direction, and different days of the week and different months of the year. And I've kind of become aware of that as I've, done more scouting of music for the Sundown at Sam's series. And so it's a great way to go out, absolutely free. Bring your kids, bring a couple of lawn chairs or a blanket or whatever. And if you got little ones, and you got some, they're not quite itty bitties, but they're still little ones.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. A lot of energy.
A lot of energy. You bring some toys, right? And they can go, and they don't have to be like super quiet like in church. You just go have fun, kids, and they can do their thing and make a little bit of noise and run around a little bit. It's fine, And so it's a great family opportunity as well as for singles or couples. And so where you'd start with those is in Huntsville, because the Main Street Music Series, one outdoor concert each month, May, June, July, and August. And so that's put on by the city. And the first one was in May, and that was a ZZ Top cover band. And they did good. And there was probably close to 200 people there.
I think it was ZZ Tex is what they call them, right?
ZZ Tex, ZZ Top cover band. And they did a cover of ZZ Top's Viva Las Vegas, which is itself a cover of Elvis's Viva Las Vegas. And I like their version better than Elvis's. So maybe that's just a personal preference thing, but I thought they did great on that. And then they've got a jazz band. I think it's coming here in the second Saturday of June. And then I can't remember all of them. You can find them online. Second Saturday of July, second Saturday of August. I think it's Rock and Roll in August.
And all that's over at the Rather Park, which Kay is Tomorrow's Promise. His name is on the back of that, along with some other folks. So
yeah, the Huntsville Leadership Institute class, 48 or something, I don't remember, built that. And to build something like that is not cheap. I mean, just the wood is, there's a lot of wood and all the, and so sponsorships were very important, and Tomorrow's Promise stepped up big for that, and some others. But yes, it was.
There's several different people got together to help make that happen.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably half the project was, arranged for the Huntsville Leadership Institute for that class to go and get the funding, and then the other half was to actually arrange the.
And how cool is that we have that beautiful stage, so we can have these type of events like the Main Street Music Series. Really cool.
We really needed to. Before then, it was just kind of a platform. It wasn't really even a stage. It wasn't covered, and so you can just do a lot more. I mean, you can do a lot more now. So that's nice, and you can watch the bats fly up in the air in the evening. Because when it gets to be dusk, off they go.
You know what's neat about the bats, Darren, is I've always watched them over there in front of the wall, but I've watched them leave, but I haven't ever watched where they go. And we were leaving here one Wednesday night because we do a Wednesday night live program here at First. They're flying in these huge groups. Yep. I guess north up to Madisonville area, or even who knows, but it's so neat to see those, Kay, in groups flying out, not just watching them as they come out, but then after the fact. That was neat.
Yeah. No, I love that, and that's easiest to do in the summer. And then the other music series that we have done a lot of over the years is actually in Crockett. And you wouldn't think of Crockett as a hotbed of music, but they really have, especially for their size, a lot going on. And in June, the Piney Woods Fine Arts Association, which is just an independent group of people there that supports the arts, they put on 4 free concerts in Friday nights in June. And they've got a nice band shell there, too, a nice stage. It's bigger than ours and a little bit wider. And they have this park south of downtown, and so you can kind of drive up and park and then just carry your lawn chairs about, 10 yards and sit down, and they'll get 200 to 300 per concert. And they have a country band coming up the first Friday night, which is not this Friday night, still May, but the following Friday. And then 3 others, some rock and roll. They might even, I think they're actually bringing ZZ Tex back. So if you didn't get enough ZZ Tex the first time, you come on back the last, I think it's the last Friday in June. Brenham has an outdoor music series right downtown. They close off downtown. That's Saturdays in July. And they'll get 500 to 700 people. Wow. They will just throng that place. And, it's warm in July, but you're down there with, 499 of your best friends.
And you got Bluebell ice cream.
You got Bluebell ice cream. And this is the thing about Crockett or Brenham in particular, there is barbecue up there.
Oh, yeah.
That is worth going to. And so in Crockett, there's Mimsey's Barbecue, which has made the Texas Monthly top 50 list, right? That's kind of the stamp of you're really good. So Mimsey's made it last cycle, and in Crockett. So if we go up there, we always stop at Mimsey's first. And then if you go to Brenham, there's actually 2 barbecue restaurants on that top 50 list, which is a lot for a small town.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so there's Truth Barbecue, and I think it's LJ's. And so if you're gonna go to another town, you might as well eat something while you're there. You're making up excuses to do more and more fun things. So you get your barbecue, you get your Bluebell, then you go downtown, get your music, and then you drive back home that evening. So that's great. And speaking of barbecue and music, Jay's right here in town is putting on a band, Wishbone Hayes. That's also the first Friday night in June.
Oh, cool.
So there you don't even have to go anywhere to get your barbecue, just right inside. And so they've got that lovely patio that you can eat on typically, but they clear that out. They put the band there, and then you bring your lawn chairs and you just sit out on the lawn.
Oh, that's so cool. I had no idea they did that at Benny J's. Wow, this is cool.
They do it, once or twice in the spring. And they're not an advertising based restaurant. So you kind of either you hear about it, if you know, and if you hear about it or you don't hear about it. But the food's great, the music's great. They are real music lovers over there. So that's an option. College Station has a music series, and that is Saturdays. That's a big enough town that it's a little bit more like industrial scale. Mm-hmm. They've got this big stage set up. It's like an Athenaeum, like if you're in Athens and there's a giant columns, and it's not truly like that, but it's cool. Yeah. It's really large, and there's a moat around it. So they're off behind the moat, and you're up on this big, kind of huge sloping lawn area. And I forget exactly. They have 3 or 4 over the course of the summer. I think one more possibly in May and a couple in June, I believe. It's easy to look these things up. You go to the Google and you say the Google, because they like to be addressed formally.
Yeah, the AI is coming alive now. So
exactly. You have to say, the Google, will you please tell me when these free concerts are in College Station? And then the Google will tell you.
Love it.
So you got that, and then you've also got music down in Conroe and the Woodlands. Conroe has one every month that they put on downtown. They have a little park downtown. It's easy to miss, because usually you go to Conroe to shop. You don't think I'm going to Conroe for all the natural beauty. But they do a lovely little park downtown. They put on free music there. I think that's once a month. The Woodlands has a couple of different series going on, and we've been down to one of those. They've got that waterway, with the beautiful trails and stuff. And a few weeks ago they held an Ironman there, and people, I think they swim 2.5 miles, and then they bike 112 miles, and then they run a marathon.
Man,
yes,
that's unbelievable. Yeah,
it's crazy.
We had Brad Didier on our show, and he's an Ironman here in Huntsville. The guy runs every day. It's unbelievable.
He's crazy.
Yeah, he is, and he runs twice a day, in the morning and the evening. And the guy's chiseled. I was like, man, who is this guy? He's awesome.
No, he's in great shape, and it takes an unbelievable condition to be able to do those things. Anyway, but they were finishing along that waterway, which would be a beautiful way to finish your marathon if you still had vision.
You're still conscious.
If you're still conscious at that point. Anyway, so they hold concerts down there by the waterway. So you've got a lot of options, absolutely free, over the next couple of months to go out and see music. A lot of country, a lot of rock and roll, some R&B. Different types of music. Just have a good time. There's usually food available, food trucks, what have you. Often you can bring a cooler, and who knows what's in the cooler. Yeah. Don't ask, don't tell. And you can bring your kids. And so it's a nice way to get out, because we don't get out as much in the summer just because of the heat. You get out, you say, okay, it's a little hot. Big deal. Get out, bring your kids, bring a blanket, bring lawn chairs, go nuts.
Love it. Well, so much going on, Darren. We appreciate you coming today and just giving us some insight. And you're making me think, this is my Kay brain going, because Kay is always thinking of ideas. Kay's got me thinking of ideas. I need to put together an official summer guide on things to do on Hello Huntsville. And, even though we promote Huntsville, there's so much around this community, too, to be a part of. And thank you for bringing that to life today, Darren. Appreciate you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Kay, any questions for Darren?
No. I'm looking forward to having lunch next week.
That sounds good.
The only question I could think of is, boy, how am I going to figure out which ones to go to? Because there's so much going on. So
yeah, there's a lot going on.
Some great things happening. So
I'm looking forward to seeing a calendar so that I can see what's going on.
Yeah. So now, and I've made it public, so now I've got to put this together. Mm-hmm. So
there is a surprising amount that happens, and where we're located, you can look north, you can look east, you can look south, you can look west, and they're actually fairly different communities. I mean, if you go east, or north, you're getting into deep East Texas.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the deep. And so that's got its own kind of vibe and music styles they like and what have you. Then you go west, you're going to Bryan College Station. Well, that's really different. You go south, you go into Houston, the Woodlands. They're really three very distinct, options. Whereas, if you lived in the middle of Nevada, it's like it's desert any way you go.
Yeah.
Which way should we go, honey? North, south, east, or west? It doesn't matter.
It's all the same.
It's just desert.
Yeah.
But we really have variety here, a cultural variety,
Love
because
it.
we're kind of located in this neat apex. And, yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, Darren, thank you so much, man. Well, first
My
and foremost,
pleasure.
thank you for what you do and who you are. And secondly,
Glad
man,
you came.
thank you for the joy that you bring to the show, man. I just love having you on, your energy, the joy. It's just always so much fun to be around. When I had you on, a few months ago, I said, we got to get you back, and we'll have you back on again to talk about different things as well. So thank you.
That sounds like a winner. I think the idea was nooks and crannies.
Yep.
So this was a nook and cranny, and there are other nooks and other crannies.
There are more coming out. We'll put it up on the website.
And you're
little bit
always
later
a wealth
today.
of information.
Yes. I wish I had more time, and I would talk about the role of public baths in Rome and in the United States in improving sanitation, a significant contributor to the reduction in mortality in the early 20th century
Wow, come
in
on.
the United States.
So what are we doing next Wednesday?
Yeah. That'll be Roman bathing next week on the show. Well, we'll take a brief break. As always, appreciate Darren, professor at Sam Houston State University as well, doing great work, and we appreciate the wealth of knowledge and also him just being generous today and with his time. He's got a lot going on, but here today to let us know about what's happening in and around Huntsville. We'll take a brief break. When we come back, it's Kay's Wednesday Wisdom. Stay with us as we continue on. This is your show. It's Good Morning Huntsville. Stay with us, please.
Illuminate your child's future at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools in Huntsville. Established in 1997 by Kay Boning, our award-winning center merges Christian values with 25 years of Montessori excellence, promoting wonder and discovery in every child. As the only Montessori school within 45 miles, we provide a fun and friendly environment, individualized Montessori methods, and love and care as if each child were our own. Safety is a priority, and with a recent $50,000 investment, our facilities inspire growth, creativity, and learning. Plus, as a nonprofit, we open Montessori doors to families of all economic backgrounds. Partner with the community pillar where every child's promise shines bright. Discover Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools today. Visit tpms.life. That's tpms.life.
Hey friends, Rob Hipp, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church, Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well, friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope, and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope.
This is Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, and you're listening to Spirit Radio.
All right, back at it here. Still don't have the official graphic, but it's time for Kay's. See, I don't know what kind of intro to do, Rick.
I think it should just be Kay's Wednesday Wisdom.
And we're back with Kay's Wednesday Wisdom.
There you go. So
yeah, more professional.
I like that.
All right, Kay.
She's not goofy like I am.
Yeah. And now, no. What do you have for us today, Kay?
Well, if you have not had your hearing checked lately, you need to go get your hearing tested. And I've been saying for several years that I can't hear things like I used to. And finally, the doctor said I failed the hearing test. Wow. And so then I went and got more testing. And when I was talking to that doctor, he said that, you know, as you lose your hearing, there's parts of your brain that's activated by that background noise that's active. And people that are losing their hearing that parts of the brain start shutting down, and it actually contributes to things like Alzheimer's and dementia and stuff. So another thing, you notice people that retire and they use it, and you got to use it or lose it. But this is actually even more important because it happens sometimes before you retire. People in their 40s or earlier are even losing their hearing. Depends on how much loud music and loud noises you're exposed to and things like that. So
also, if you listen to hip hop.
Yeah, Rick's favorite music.
Go get your hearing tested and make sure that you're not losing some aspect of hearing. Because like the other day, I have certain tones I know I couldn't hear very well, but the other day he said, "Where's the siren coming from?" And I'm like, "What siren?" And about 2 seconds later, I then heard the siren. I was like, "Oh, that's the direction." He said, "Well, I can tell it now," and so I went back.
She couldn't hear the siren. It was a fire truck coming, and I could hear it, but she couldn't.
Well, Kay, you bring up that's why I missed having these Wednesday Wisdoms when you're not here. It's just so important because you're linking from what you were told by this doctor, which I would have never imagined. The loss of hearing can link to Alzheimer's in some way, which is very scary to think about. And think about the millions upon millions of people that lose their hearing, or even just part. And this is what you're saying. It's not complete loss of hearing. Just even a fraction of your hearing can link to this.
The rustle of paper or something like that is a certain part of your brain that's activated when it hears the rustling of paper.
And you're probably not even aware of it.
And before this, did you know any of this, or is this just things, now that this happened, this doctor started revealing some of this, right?
Yeah, he made that comment, and
Wow.
I haven't really went into researching it more, but I do know from previous research I've done that things like, you never read another book after you graduate high school. There's parts of your brain that's going to shut down because you're not activating and learning things. And there's parts of your brain that's going to shut down if you are out socializing with people and then you don't get out anymore.
Yeah, so get your hearing checked. I never, and I haven't even thought about it. At 41, I probably need to get mine checked because I'm always telling Bridget, like, what did you say? What did you say? And I do that to everybody. It's like I can hear what they're saying, but I don't know if I'm actually hearing. You know what I'm saying? It's like maybe I'm missing parts of what they're saying because something is up with. And I wear these every day, so that could be a contributing factor.
And I can hear certain tones perfect. But there's certain tones I can't hear, and so it doesn't mean you can't hear at all. It just means little things are dropping out.
Have you been able to like scientifically determine what frequency Rick speaks at, and then just
the one I can't hear?
That's what I was about to say, and then tune that one out. So
it's true. She can't hear me half the time.
Huh?
See, it works on you too.
Yeah, there's a.
Adjust my frequency in the morning so my wife can hear me.
Yes. See, Darren says that he adjusts his frequency so his wife can hear him, and then he readjusts it. As the day goes on. It's perfect. It's a great way to do it. So. Okay, thank you. This is very important Wednesday Wisdom. We'll put this up on our website, and it'll go in the newsletter on Thursday for Kay's Wednesday Wisdom. Very important, and we'll even put some more research on that as well, linking hearing to
the
these
sad
things.
part is insurance company will not pay for hearing aids.
Really?
No.
Yikes.
Those hearing aids she's got cost like a small car.
Reagan Cooksey over at Northside used to have these commercials. I don't know if he still does or not, but they'd be, "Are you listening?" And so we need to play those for the insurance companies. We need help with the hearing aid. Are you listening? So Reagan, if you can help us with that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about preventing possibly Alzheimer's or brain damage or something like that, not to mention just being able to hear the right things, like a siren or something like that would be preventative. I don't understand why the insurance companies don't pay for something that's preventative.
Yeah.
But they don't.
Well, hopefully this
for
can.
A lot of things.
You never know what'll happen on the internet and where things will go, and maybe this can be the start of that very important conversation and get help to millions and millions of people that need it, especially right now with the financial struggles that a lot of us are under. So, okay, thank you for that wisdom. I know you got to get going, but thank you very much and for bringing a very important topic here for discussion that I think is extremely important that we all need to pay attention about, especially young children. Get their hearing checked. They do it in schools, but even me at 41, you've made me realize I need to go get my hearing checked. Now, if you don't, one quick question, I know you got to go, but if you need to get your hearing checked does the insurance pay for the hearing check?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be covered under insurance.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
And actually, on children, this relates to children too, because learning how to read is directly tied to hearing. Because to hear the sounds, the initial sounds that letters make, is related to hearing. So, like, if you want to play games with Braylon, like, mommy, what sounds like M, and show her the letter M, then say the and then kind of what sounds like that, and start playing games like mommy and monkey and man and money and things. Then she's hearing those sounds, and that will help her with her reading.
And you need to be able to hear it, so it's important. Okay, thank you for that. That's good. I miss these Wednesday wisdoms. I felt, and I'm not even joking, I felt on Wednesday that I haven't been as smart as I normally could have been without you. So thank you for coming back. Rick's okay,
wow.
but
that makes me feel great.
Rick's okay, but it's definitely not Kay's Wednesday wisdom. So
you want me to get some wisdom?
Yeah. Is it Rick's over here? I'll give you some wisdom with my right fist.
No. I'll just use words you don't understand.
All right, we'll take another break, and when we come back, it's another segment. What is it? Well, you'll find out when we come back. It's a bouncing head guy here on the show. It is your show. It's Good Morning Huntsville. We'll be back after this. Thank you, Kay. Appreciate it.
I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Hey friends, Rob Hipp, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church, Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well, friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope, and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope.
In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville.
And now, it's Rick's.
Yeah.
Top 10. Rick's Top 10 here every Wednesday. Even when Rick's not here.
Yeah. How does that work when I'm not here?
Isaiah or somebody else reads it. Oh. There it is.
Great.
What is it?
Today is the top 10 ways to celebrate National Brisket Day.
In honor of Kyle Kreiner.
Hi, Miss Kyle.
Yeah, old buddy. He's working at Exxon. He's big time.
I know. I used to work at Shell, but that's not like Exxon.
Nah, no spills. Valdez is okay. Poor birds.
Yeah.
Toothbrushes. No wonder why toothbrushes are so expensive. Anyways.
Okay. Are we ready to go?
Dove. What is it? Dawn dish soap. Poor. No wonder why toothbrushes and Dawn dish soap never came down in price after that.
They never did.
No.
And the birds didn't fly that well anymore.
Poor little fellers. Anyways, Rick's top 10.
Number 10. Instead of counting calories, count smoke rings.
Oh, okay.
You ever seen a smoke ring come off brisket?
No, I've never seen them come off. They hopefully will stay there.
Number 9. Tell your vegan friends it's a national holiday and you're legally exempt from guilt.
True.
Number 8. Change your Wi-Fi password to brisket for life just to assert dominance. Number 7. Replace your car's air freshener with a slow-cooked brisket.
Oh, God. That
Risky?
That would stink.
Yes. Worth it? Absolutely.
No, it would stink.
Number 6. Watch a romantic comedy. Pause every time someone cries and says, "That's how I feel about brisket." Baptize your new grill in hickory smoke while whispering, "Let there be meat." 4. Tell your kids bedtime stories about the legendary 18-hour cook from your Uncle Carl's backyard. Should be Uncle Kyle's backyard.
Yeah, Uncle Kyle's backyard. Boy, let me tell you about Uncle Kyle. Is he the one that smells like meat?
Slow cooked.
Yeah, slow cooked.
Number 3. Set your relationship status to committed to brisket.
I'm surprised they don't have a where you could tell it whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do that. Probably because there'd be a lot of weird people.
Committed to brisket.
Number 2. Get a brisket tattoo, or at least a temporary one. You still have that pig-shaped sponge, right?
I don't even know what that is.
Not sure what that is. And the number 1 way to celebrate National Brisket Day. 1. Smoke one. Eat one. Hug one. Name your next child Brisket. Middle name Mesquite.
Oh, there it is, friends.
Oh, that's Rick's Top 10 today. That was a different one.
Rick's Top 10 and the bouncy hair man.
Yeah, no hair. No hair.
That was in front of the studio, by the way, is where that picture came from. We were outside.
What was I doing with that? Was I wearing a wig or what?
I guess.
Must have been.
I didn't know you used to wear one.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
Wore a rug for a while. But now it's all bald.
That's cheaper. Hey, we ought to do one of those social experiments where we go over to the Cajun barber with you. Well, Rick, I don't know. We're going to be able to do it, Rick.
Well, he can trim the sides.
That's my buddy over there, Odell. Yeah, you could.
I've been to Odell before.
Yeah, that's my buddy.
Back
over
when
there.
I had hair.
He has so many. He's a good man. I'm going to have him. I know we joke and cut up, but I'm really going to have him on the show sometime to share his testimony, how the Lord has worked in his life, especially over the last year. It's been incredible what God has done in that man's life, and that's why I've developed such a strong friendship with him. And you know, he's just a good man.
He is.
Really good man, and he's battled so many medical issues over the past few years and really over the last few decades, but especially the last few years. But God has brought him through every one of those. And if we've had to battle cancer 3 times, I couldn't even battle it once. Here's a man who's battled it 3 times, maybe more, and has came out victorious every time, and has had other medical issues as well. Odell, I hope I'm not violating HIPAA here, but you know, everybody kind of knows he's been open with folks, and I don't mind telling it because I'm telling it because it's for God's glory, and I know Odell would be okay with that. So yeah, social experiments are on the way. We're going to go to Buc-ee's. We should do this. I think we could.
We can do it. I've got time.
I think it would go viral. Literally.
You think it would?
We need to. You know what we need to get you though is like a gray-headed wig, like a long-haired wig, and a cane.
I don't look old enough already.
No, I think it just looked great with that on, and then we'll walk in there, and I'd like for you to fall, and then we'll see and fall on.
Should I lay there and moan for a while?
Yeah, but I'd like for you to fall. As a joke, not like normally, you know, just try to actually stand up.
I have fallen in slow motion before.
Yeah, it's not good. You know, in all seriousness, spalling is a very serious thing. You hear so many terrible stories of folks who, especially elderly folks, who have been perfectly fine, and then they will fall, break their hip, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And that's the serious.
Never recover.
Never recover. And in fact, the health goes down dramatically. I was so thankful to have my grandmother for 93 years on this earth, and she and I had such a wonderful relationship. I miss her every day since 2001 or 2021 when she passed. I miss her. It's crazy to think it's been 4 years almost now. And I miss my father too. You know, we lost him a little under a year ago. He passed away in June of last year. But I think about, especially like my grandmother, that woman never had a broken bone in her body at 93 years old.
Really?
She fell, but not like the falls that you typically have when you get older. It's just, you know, a fall. I've fallen at 41. I fell the other day. You know, falls happen. But we were so blessed. She never broke a hip or anything like that. And even up until the day that she passed away, except that morning, you know, she didn't get out of bed. But the night before, she was on the phone. She had her walker. She was talking to people, just doing what she normally does. And don't take the moments for granted that we have our health, because we never know when that's going to be gone.
That's right.
We have no idea when that's going to be gone. I won't go into details, but we're facing a really tough situation here with our church family. Some folks that have recently been coming here and just wonderful, wonderful folks. And the lady had found out just out of nowhere that she had a cancerous tumor in her brain. And I mean, you never know what's going to happen. But the one assurance that we have is that we know that when we're believers and we believe in Christ and have a personal relationship with Him, that all that's going to be gone one day.
Yeah.
When we depart this earth and when we get to be with Christ and be back with our loved ones. I won't get weird about this, Rick, but I've been following a podcast called the Imagine Heaven podcast. A friend of mine that I trust turned me on to this podcast, and this was an agnostic man who was an engineer, and his father was battling cancer, and there was a book about, you know, what comes next, and he read that book, and he started questioning some things. He still was very skeptical of the Christian faith, but that was the seed that he needed to start questioning things. Well, if you fast forward a few years later, he decided to pick up the Bible and read it, and just from reading the Bible, he said, "My goodness, I've heard this, but I've never thought about it." And he goes, "Now it's in my heart." And he accepted Christ just through reading the Bible on his own. And now he is a pastor. It's pretty neat, his story and his journey. But he has a podcast where he's interviewed thousands of people that have experienced these near-death experiences. And I encourage anybody, to go out, one, read the Bible. I mean, the Bible is the standard authority. But number two, go listen to this guy's podcast, and it's amazing. A lot of times you'll see these things, and they're kind of weird, and the people are weird, and you're like, whatever. It's like, oh, UFOs, like that stuff's kind of out there. But this, I mean, he interviews people like an airline pilot who the plane had crashed, and the guy had died for a few moments. There was a business lady, who was on a rafting trip, and she was underwater, clinically dead, they said, for 30 minutes. And these folks have described some things that have happened to them from that moment on. And there's doubters who will say, well, it's chemicals in your brain that create these things. Well, if that's true, then how about the blind person that he interviewed that said almost identical to what these other people had experienced? And this is where it gets really interesting. And I encourage you, just go read this, go listen to this podcast. And I'm going to tell you, I think it's going to change some people's lives. And for those of you that don't believe, one, read the Bible and that's your main source of information. But I really feel like this guy's whole purpose is to lead people to Christ through this. It's amazing that these stories from people from all over the world, and he has a formula when he interviews these people to make sure that he's only, to make sure that it's legit, because anybody can say that things happen. So he has kind of a formula that he goes through, and it's so weird that people that speak different languages from different countries, from different beliefs, that have all described some of the same things that they've seen. And that's where, to me, I'm like, wow, this guy's really done research on this. And the reason I thought of all this, I want Odell to come on and tell his story, because until you are around somebody or know of somebody that something like this has happened to, you probably are skeptical like I was.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you meet somebody that something like this has happened to, that they can describe and that there's no answer for, and when the doctor says, well, God must have revealed this to you, that's when things are, like, and Odell has an incredible story and he's open to sharing it. We just got to schedule time for it. But I want him to come on and share his story about what happened to him. And here's what's crazy, Rick. The things that Odell had told me are the things that this guy is the same thing that this guy is revealing through all these interviews. And I'm like, Odell told me the same thing.
Yeah.
And this is unbelievable. How is it, if it's a chemical in our brain, then how is it that everybody has a similar, it's not 100%, but 90% of it, 95% of it's the same. How is it the same? And then the doubter that said something, well, it's the chemical in your brain. How is it that the blind guy was able to describe stuff that the doctor was like, how do you know all this? And this guy had never seen from the moment he was born, and the things he described. And that was the jaw dropper for me. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And there's no gain for this guy. I mean, he's not out for himself, and it's really neat. So I want to encourage you to read it again. It's the Imagine Heaven podcast. He's a New York Times bestseller too. Wrote a book on all this too. I bought a copy for my mom the other day, had it sent to her house, and she started reading it. So this is pretty interesting. So anyways, just wanted to mention all of that.
Why not?
Rick, what else is new in your world, man?
I have a new world?
Yeah. Well, no. What is new in your? Did I say what's in your new world? Is that what I just said?
That's the way I took it, though.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like that.
So what's new in your world, man?
Not a whole lot. What would you like me to say, Rob?
Well, whatever you think.
I'm just not into sharing my personal emotions on a podcast.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Rick told me a story that was just devastating.
Was it?
About his van, and he didn't want to talk about old Blue, from old school. He was, "Attaboy, Blue." He put a little baby oil on that thing, tried to drive it into a pool, and it didn't work out too well. And Blue died right there. Right there. Heart stopped right there in the middle of it.
I tried to mouth the tailpipe, and that didn't
mouth the tailpipe. Speaking of which, though, how is old Blue? What's going on with him right now?
Oh, I just took it in to have the USB port looked at because it wasn't working the way I thought it should.
Boy, I'm so glad I'm out of IT, man. Or God, if a guy like you came in, I don't know if my USB port ain't working the way. Well, what's wrong with it? Well, it's supposed to be 5.5 volts. I'm only getting 5.28. I feel like
it's not working at all. Let me put it that way.
Was it it may have been a fuse.
I don't know.
Did you check the fuse?
No. Have you looked at that?
You're a technical guy, Rick.
Yeah?
You should. I would have expected you to. Man,
I didn't look at the fuse because it's been acting up, and then it just.
I expected you to have that thing like all mapped out.
Well, I expected to have it back by now, and I don't know what's taking them so long.
Rick's looking at his. I expected to be off the show by now.
Actually, it's telling me I need to get up and walk.
Yeah. So, well, hey, a lot going on. Again, please, it's very important. I want folks to hear. It's very important that the people that you see on this show during the week, they do a lot for our program, such as Tomorrow's Promise. And I love being able to personally endorse the folks that are on this show with me because I genuinely use the services. Everybody, now, the one that I don't genuinely use, and I hope I don't have to,
Billy Cawthon.
is Billy Cawthon. But
well,
I know
your relatives will.
But I have been a part of services, and I can tell you that they do a phenomenal. You and I were at Clay's service, which was just,
we both gave a eulogy.
Yeah, it went very, very well. And
I meant to post mine on his birthday, and I wasn't in town.
Well, you think about all of these folks in this community, and here's what I love too, and I love, this is why I love what I do, because I can go to sleep at night and not have a worry in the world about any of this because it's factual. Every person that is on my show, on our show, Monday through Friday, is our foundation sponsors. I knew you all before we even started this program. Mm-hmm. And I utilized the services before we even had this program.
Yeah, and it's gone so well that now I'm moving away from you.
Yeah, so thank you. Rick's leaving me. So, but no, I'm serious though. It's neat because the credit union, we had a loan from them before we had the idea for this show. Jason and I had a friendship, knew each other long before this, and been out to the range. You guys, we had Braylon over at the Children's House before this was even a thing, before we moved the first time. Thursdays, I was here at the church, and that's a really great relationship. And then Fridays with Billy. I've known Billy and been a friend, one of my close friends here in this community. And so I say all this, hopefully it's coming across as personal and genuine, because that's the way that I mean for it to be. When you see folks like Rick and Kay, support them, support what they're doing. The Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is such an important literacy effort that was Kay's brainchild for this county, and now spreading into other areas as well. But it is such a great opportunity for children to get their hands on books from 0 to 5. That's why we're supporting it. I'm not teaming up with Tomorrow's Promise because they're here on this show. I'm teaming up with them because my children benefit from those books.
Yeah.
We get them in the mail. My kids are excited about getting those books every month.
Read the statistics. The children that have books in their home learn to read, and they develop a lifelong love of reading.
My little girl was talking at 1 year old, had complete sentences, which was unbelievable.
I'm still having a problem with that.
Me, sentence, yes. Same. Oh. But support these folks. And, when we have guests on like Darren, and Kyle Kreiner hops on once in a while, I made a commitment at the beginning of this year, and it's hard to believe we're getting close to halfway through the year.
Almost.
Where did that go?
That way.
Yeah. Went up to Madisonville to Buc-ee's. It's fallen down. People are laughing at it, saying, "You need help?"
When are we going to do that? We need to work on that.
Yeah. I don't know if Madisonville may be kind of close. Maybe we do the Dallas Buc-ee's or something. Is there one up there? I'm sure there is.
There's one right outside of Dallas, this side.
I'm sure they're all over. But support these businesses. I made a commitment at the beginning of this year to say, you know what, we're gonna work hard to support and promote more local small business, and we've done that, and we're going to continue to do that. And we're working behind the scenes. I've been talking to a person about coming on and possibly helping us part time. The reality is, money wise, it's going to be really difficult. But I also know, I go back to when I had my IT company, Rick, and we hit a point to where we needed the help, but we didn't have the cash coming in to get the help. Mm-hmm. And I stepped out on faith. And I said, you know what, Lord, guide me through this. And I know I need somebody, help everything else fall into play. He did. He's always faithful. And when I ended up bringing on 2 people. Couldn't afford them. Brought on 2. And the revenue from those 2 came in immediately. And then it increased what we were doing. And so I feel the same about what we're doing here with Hello Huntsville. We want to continue to promote. And I've got to get my foot really on the gas pedal with a lot of things that we're working on, Rays of Hope and many other events, and I need help. And so we're going to do it, and we're going to do it well.
Good to know.
Make Hello Huntsville great again.
It's already great.
We'll have green hats with white text. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Actually, we should have, as the community grows, we need to have a campaign called Keep Huntsville Great.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Keep Huntsville small.
Well, it's okay if it grows, but we got to keep the culture.
Yeah, I like the culture.
Something popped up.
Friendliest town I've ever lived in.
Yeah, you ain't been around me very long, buddy. Can't stand my neighbors, jerks across the street. So bad they moved out.
That would be me.
Yeah, jerk. Time I go there, can I borrow a cup of sugar? And you threw salt in my eyes. I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry, I'm just visualizing.
Yeah.
Did you come to the back door? Because that's what happens.
Yeah. Oh, these little kids! It's so I love it. I love this, by the way. These little kids around the corner. David Cox, a great man. He works. He helps out over at Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, very very limited part time. But he's my neighbor around the corner or behind me. And David is an awesome man. I love David. And I guess it's his grandkids or somebody. They'll always throw their Frisbee over my fence. Mm-hmm. And those little kids come, they're so nervous. Sir, we threw our Frisbee over. I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, this is great. Keep throwing it over. Gives me something to do. So those little toots have thrown their Frisbee over 3 times now. And every time they knock on the door and they're nervous when we threw our Frisbee over again. And I'm like, it's okay, guys. Don't worry about it. The dogs aren't okay with it because they go nuts when someone knocks on the door.
That's probably what scares kids.
Yeah, Max on. He's a golden and he's sitting here foaming at the mouth. It's like, dude, we just got your tumor out, man. Chill out. Be nice. Oh my. All right. Well, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Jason Bay here with us from First, and we're looking forward to a great day today. Go out and make a difference, Huntsville. There's so much that you can do to make a difference. We'll have Cherie Brabbitt's on tomorrow.
Oh.
She starts her new role at CASA on Monday. She's publicly announced that. She is a advocate supervisor now at CASA, but she is wrapping up. Her last day at Carolina Creek will be on Friday. And so she's going to come on Thursday and kind of say a final thank you and a goodbye and let us know about the great things happening at Carolina Creek. She's leaving there on a very great note, which is awesome. She's just a wonderful person.
She really is.
But she'll be with us tomorrow to give us some information, and then she starts her new job on Monday. Friday, we got a very busy day coming up on Friday. We're going to have a couple of guests, Christy Titzman and Denise Winston, joining us. They are going to be here to talk about the Walker County 4-H day camps on Friday. And then we're going to have Billy's pastor, Jeff Powers, joining the show as well. So we are going to be very busy on Friday. Won't be as fun as Wednesday with Rick.
Well, Billy's pretty fun.
Yeah, well, Billy, you are. Actually, Billy, you're much more fun. So.
I love you too, Rob.
And Rick, by the way, is one of the original Dumplings, too. Part of the Dumpling gang. All right. Anything else, Rick? Been fun?
Sir.
Thanks for hanging out, man.
Thank you.
Be kind to one another.
I'm trying.
I adjusted my colors on the show today. Did you notice this?
I noticed it was a little brighter.
Well, look how rich the black is. Look at that. The black is black now.
Look out. It brings out the black in my ears.
And look how tan you look, Rick.
I thought it was red.
This guy looks like it.
Looks red.
That's your new nickname, Red.
Red? I've never been a redhead.
Can you do this, Rick? There you go there. Red. Well, see you, Red. I got one last story for you before we go.
Go ahead.
You got 1 second?
I've got a second.
In Georgetown, I had a taxi business with a friend of mine. This was before Uber and Lyft got popular. And we would get calls all the time. And it was most of the time it was a fun business. There was a couple of scary. One time I got to pick up Matthew McConaughey's mom. She lives in Georgetown. K-Mac is what we called her. And took her to Austin to Matthew's daughter had a play.
Oh.
And whenever my friend had dropped off K-Mac, Matthew was there, and he goes, "Did you take care of my mother?" He said he was just like how he is in the movies. Like he was just real cool. And would the word be like suave? Is that even a word? Suave. I like to say suave though to add a little extra umph to it. But he said he was just like it. Well, I get a call one time. I had a Mercedes C300, and you don't think that was anything special. I mean, the Honda. That car was cheaper than a Honda Accord, you know. But I bought that car to take people to the airport because people would pay a premium price. So we had a nice car to take people to the airport in Austin, and we charged $80 for an airport ride.
Right.
Well, I get a call, and our little Ford Escape was out on the road. My friend was driving it, taking care of stuff. So I only had the Mercedes that day, and I get a call on a Sunday to go pick up a guy. It's from a business in Gerald, north of Georgetown. I go pick up this guy. Really sketchy. Guy's hair was all over the place, and I hate to be judgmental, but I mean you get that idea because here you are on a Sunday, and what's this guy? And he's wearing shorts, and just you could tell that something wasn't right, and it wasn't. There was something not right about this guy. He was twitching and moving, and immediately I knew he was tweaking on something. Well, what had happened? This business called us to go get him out of their property. I don't know why they call. Why didn't they call the cops? I don't know. He just kept telling them he needed a ride, so they call us, the only taxi company in that area, and I go and pick him up, and immediately he's skeptical of me. What are you doing in this Mercedes, man? And I said, well, it's our car. Well, why are you picking me up in this? I said, because it's my car, buddy. We don't have another car today. I said, where do you need to go? Well, I need to go to my mom's house, man. Okay, where does she live? Georgetown. Okay, get in the car, let's go. And the guy's really twitching. I mean, he's twitching, man. We get on Interstate 35, and he looks at me and he goes, man, you're one of them, aren't you? I said, what are you talking about, dude? You're part of Red's group. That's why I thought of this whenever you said Red. In the moment, I should have said, no, I'm part of Purple's group, buddy. You got the wrong color. He thought that I was some drug dealer from some guy named Red, and I was part of his group. And then he proceeded to tell me that I was going to take his life. He goes, I know what you're here for, man. You're gonna do me in. I know it. And I said, dude, you just needed a ride. That's why I'm here. That guy flipped 180 And thank goodness he was sitting next to me. He reached over and tried to grab the steering wheel, and he grabbed a hold of it and tried to slam us into the median. And I reacted immediately, jerked back. I had my elbow, I busted the dude in the jaw, and then he just kind of chilled. He froze. And then he kind of calmed down. He was trying to tell me to turn my phone off because they were tracking us. Scariest moment of my life, to be honest. I've had that moment, and I had an instance where I was in the middle of someone pulling out a firearm in a bathroom. That was extremely scary. But this was up there with it with this guy. And then he proceeded to tell me that I was calm. He's, why are you so calm, man? I said, because I'm just trying to get you to your mom's, dude. Well, the only thing I could think of is I got to get this guy out of my car and fast. So we got to Georgetown. I dropped him off at the fire station. I said, I don't know what to do with this guy. He's on drugs. I've tried to help him, but, man, he tried to kill me and literally, told me he was going to slam us into the median, said that we needed to be done. And so they immediately, the firemen were like, well, we need to call the cops. You need to press charge. I was like, no, dude, the guy's on drugs, man. I'm like, I'm fine. And I'll never forget, after all this, the guy, he hands me $40. He's like, oh, here, man, thanks for your trouble. And I gave it
to kill me?
Yeah, and I gave it back to him, and I said, don't use this on anything else. Go use it for some help. And I left. 2 weeks later, I got out of that business.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's what made me think of it. I'm not part of Red's group. I was part of Purple's group.
I'm part of Green's group.
Yeah. Man, you're part of Green's group, bro.
I am. Don't grab the wheel. Don't grab the wheel.
Yeah, please, don't take the wheel because I ain't ready for that. Hey, that'll wrap it up. Fun show today. Appreciate Rick Boning.
Rob.
Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. More information online, tomorrowspromise.info. Big thank you to Kay for Kay's Wednesday Wisdom. Some very important information. And also Darren Grant giving us a look at what to do.
I enjoyed Darren. He's helped us with many of our races.
Yeah, very, very awesome guy. We'll be back tomorrow, 7:30. Until then, friends, I hope you all have a very, very wonderful and blessed day. And
before we go.
Yeah, what's up?
You need to tell your...
Oh, yeah. God, you're sitting here telling me things that I should know. Was it today? It was yesterday.
It's in the comments.
Oh, hold on. Let's see here. It may have been on the other Yeah, I think it's on the other feed because I don't get to see all the comments. Rebecca, love you, and happy anniversary to you and Ben.
There you go.
Under 20 years of wedding bliss. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's under 20 years.
They've been together 29, but married for 19.
Yeah, they've been together a long time.
Yeah.
Is this true?
That's what she said.
Do you remember this?
Why wouldn't I?
How do you know this? And that's my sister. Rick knows more than me. All right, we'll see you, friends. Hey, as I end every show reminding you, my sister said, have a blessed day. Love you, sis. As I end every show reminding you all to have a very blessed and great day, but reminding you of this, that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. Until then, good morning, Huntsville, and God bless. We will see you tomorrow. See you, Rick.
Goodbye, Rob.